Every marina has whispered rumors, boats that fly past the speed limit using tricks their owners never admit. Behind every shortcut, from silent ECU remaps to thunderous exhaust cutouts, lie real risks, $10,000 fines, voided warranties, even confiscated engines. Speed, it turns out, has a shadowy cost. These are the 10 ways people get caught chasing it. Ready to see what most boaters only discuss in secret? If you enjoy honest boating facts and behind-the-scenes realities, subscribe and like the video. Now let us get into the list. A mechanic leans over a laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. With a few clicks, the engine's brain, its ECU, gets rewritten. No tools, no telltale marks, just a silent change in software. The move is an ECU remap, and it is silent. A remap tweaks ignition timing, fuel delivery, and the rev limiter. On a 250 horsepower outboard, it can unlock an extra 30 or even 50 horsepower, enough to add several knots to top speed. The boat sounds stock at idle, it passes a casual glance, and it slides past most checks. But the risk runs deep. Manufacturers like Yamaha and Volvo Penta scan for firmware mismatches during service. If the checksum does not match factory specs, the warranty vanishes on the spot. Dealers deny claims even for unrelated repairs. One mechanic puts it bluntly, Stage 2 tunes lead to breakdowns costing $10,000. Warranty voids are standard. If you enjoy honest boating facts and behind-the-scenes realities, consider liking the video and subscribing for more. On the other end of the spectrum, some owners crave the roar as much as the rush. Exhaust cutouts swap subtlety for spectacle. By bypassing mufflers, these mods let engines breathe easier, reducing back pressure and boosting power at high engine speed. The result is a deep aggressive note that is impossible to ignore and impossible to hide. State laws draw a hard line at 88 decibels during stationary tests. Patrols with calibrated sound meters roam popular lakes and write citations for anything louder. In Massachusetts and Oregon, even a single violation can mean a hefty fine and a mandatory fix. A marina manager says they hear them before they see them. If you are running cutouts, expect a visit from the patrol. The difference is clear. ECU remaps slip under the radar, invisible without a scan tool or a deep dive into software. Exhaust mods announce themselves with every throttle blip, drawing attention from officers and fellow boaters alike. Both can make a boat faster. Only one can pass unnoticed, at least until the next service or the next insurance claim. The line between stealth and spectacle shapes not just how these tricks work, but how and how quickly owners get caught. A can of race fuel sits on the dock, its label promising more octane than any pump in town. Pouring in a chemical cocktail, sometimes with lead, oxygenates, or even aviation fuel, can push an engine to deliver sharper throttle response and a few extra miles per hour. The science is simple. Higher octane blends burn hotter and faster, allowing for more aggressive ignition timing and higher cylinder pressures. But the risks stack up just as quickly. Environmental Protection Agency inspectors can fine boat owners up to $10,000 for using illegal blends that spike emissions. Mechanics warn that these fuels eat away at gaskets, melt pistons, and leave a chemical trail in the fuel system that is hard to hide during an inspection. Insurance claims for engine fires or failures are routinely denied when traces of banned additives show up in the lab. Some chasers want more than chemistry, they want a literal shot of speed. Nitrous oxide systems, borrowed from drag racing, deliver a cold burst of oxygen-rich vapor straight into the intake. The effect is immediate, a surge of horsepower that can launch a boat ahead of the pack. But this jolt comes at a cost. Cylinder pressures can double in an instant, snapping connecting rods and grenading gearboxes. Offshore race officials know the signs. During technical inspections, bottles and hidden plumbing are seized on the spot. Sanctions range from race disqualification to permanent bans. In one American Powerboat Association event, a single whiff of nitrous in a fuel sample led to the entire team's results being wiped out. United States Coast Guard regulations ban nitrous on recreational vessels, and surveyors check for telltale bottle mounts and plumbing during high-stakes races. Even the humble Propeller gets a black market upgrade. Swapping to a high-pitch or custom-cut prop can edge out a few knots at the top end. The pitch change forces the engine to work harder, raising RPMs and straining the shaft. But the hidden danger is cavitation. When spinning too fast, the prop creates vapor bubbles that implode, eating away at the metal. Surveyors flag these props during inspections, and a failed prop inspection can mean losing a racing license or failing a safety survey. Cavitation scars are the giveaway, a frosted, pitted surface where water once boiled against the blade. In the end, these hardware hits promise speed, but the consequences, fines, confiscations, or catastrophic failures, are never far behind. A row of seats disappears from the cockpit. Toolboxes and coolers are left behind on the dock. Every pound shaved means less hull in the water, less drag, and a little more speed on the GPS. Some owners even remove factory ballast tanks, trading stability for a few extra knots. The temptation is clear, but the fallout can be brutal. When a boat capsizes after a sudden turn, insurers dig into the claim. If safety gear or ballast is missing, coverage evaporates. Seawise Mutual denied $50,000 in a claim after finding the owner had stripped out weight below the waterline. The logic is simple: change the design, and you own the risk. Hull tweaks come next. Some sand the bottom glass smooth, chasing the lowest possible drag. Others add sharp Chinese or Farron steps with resin, hoping to break the water's grip and lift the hull at speed. These hacks can work, but they can also backfire. Registration inspectors have voided numbers after finding unauthorized hull changes. Even a subtle tweak can trigger a failed safety check, leaving a boat unregistered and unwelcome at the ramp. If you appreciate honest boating facts and behind-the-scenes realities, consider subscribing. Then there is attitude, literally. Extreme use of trim tabs or jacking the bow sky high can lift most of the hull out of the water, slashing resistance. But the margin for error shrinks fast. Handling guides warn that aggressive trim increases the risk of broach, where the boat veers sideways and spins out. United States Coast Guard statistics show a 20% jump in broach incidents on boats with altered trim or weight. A single mistake can flip the whole story from speed to rescue call. For some, the rush is worth it. For others, a warning from the surveyor or a denied claim is enough to bring the seats and the ballast back on board. A bolt-on bracket raises the outboard just a few inches, shifting the engine's weight and tilt. The promise is clear: less drag, more speed, a few tenths shaved off the GPS. But the trade-off is hidden stress. Manufacturer bulletins warn that changing bracket angles or adding aftermarket jack plates can overload the transom, the reinforced section at the stern that holds everything together. On a 21-foot runabout, the transom already absorbs hundreds of pounds of thrust at full throttle. Angle it beyond specification, and the load multiplies, sometimes doubling at high speed. Marine surveyors document cracked gel coat, delaminated plywood, and steering bolts pulling through the fiberglass. One report flagged a bracket hack after a routine inspection. Transom flex visible at idle. Recommend immediate repair. Service denied until return to factory configuration. Dealers back up the warning. If a shop spots unauthorized mounting holes or bracket extensions, they can refuse warranty service outright, regardless of the problem. For some, the shortcut is not mechanical, it is on paper. Falsified horsepower decals and doctored registration documents let oversized engines slip past patrols and insurance adjusters. The trick is simple. Swap a 200 horsepower sticker onto a 300 horsepower block, or edit the title before submitting paperwork. State DNR officers have seen it all. One citation in Minnesota led to a fine of $5,000 and immediate vessel seizure when a routine stop uncovered mismatched serial numbers. Fraud carries real weight, fines, criminal charges, and the loss of the boat itself. As one officer put it, if the papers do not match the metal, you are not going home with your boat. Both moves, hardware hacks and document deception, promise a faster ride. But the risks are not just legal. Structural failure at speed can sink a boat in seconds. Fraud can wipe out years of investment in a single afternoon. The temptation for speed is strong, but the consequences last much longer. Every year, U.S. authorities issue thousands of citations for illegal boat modifications, proof that speed still tempts many. As technology advances, enforcement gets smarter, not slower. The real challenge now is balancing that urge for speed with the responsibility every boater carries. What's your take? Let's talk below.